Hey guys, Mitch here with Super Platinum Achievement, and today I'm going to give you a review on a couple controller slash grip options for the Nintendo Switch. We're going to check it out here in just a second. First off, guys, if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button down below. It helps us out a ton. We really appreciate it. Also, at the end of this video, if you liked what you saw, give us a big thumbs up. That helps out the channel a lot as well. And don't forget to check out our giveaway playlist. We do them all the time, and you might get something pretty big. So diving right in, I've actually got two controller slash controller grip options here for the Nintendo Switch. And they are both from Binbok or Binbok. I'm not sure how to say it. But yeah, I'm sure you might, if you've got Facebook, you may have seen these as advertisements on your page. They're pretty cool. There's two different styles I have here. I honestly didn't know there were two different ones until I went to buy them. So that's pretty cool. So we're going to talk about the first style here. This is the first one I picked up and purchased. They are the smaller ones. These are easier to take around with you. They fit in a more wide variety of cases, such as the Skull & Co. Case that comes with the grip bundle. They fit in the Dobie case that comes with the Dobie controller slash grip that I've reviewed before. And they're a lot easier to carry around. So they're much smaller, as you can see there, but they're much more ergonomic than your normal Joy-Cons. Way more comfortable. And then the analog sticks here themselves are also better. They're not as flat and limited in movement as the Joy-Con ones. They are much more like a standard controller, a lot better here. So first thing when you notice, like I said, when you grab it, way more comfortable. And then as far as the buttons go, that's where you kind of get let down immediately. They're very clicky, especially the ZR and ZL buttons. They're very like hair trigger almost. You barely have to push them and they click in, and they're very clicky. You get used to it. It's not like they're horrible, but they're clicky and super sensitive. So not my favorite. And then all the other buttons are clicky too. The R and L buttons are pretty clicky. When you push the analog sticks in, that's even worse. I mean, that's super clicky and kind of annoying when you're gaming if you're doing it a lot. I'm not a fan of that. The D-pad on these is pretty atrocious. If you're doing any game that requires you to use the D-pad a lot, especially for moving in different directions, I would not use this. If you're the type of gamer that's playing old games, or if you're playing the Nintendo Switch Online, Super Nintendo games, and using the D-pad, I would not use this. The D-pad is awful. It may be one of the worst D-pads I've used. But if you're playing the game and it's just to access inventory or switch weapons real quick, it's not going to be horrible because you're just doing a quick push of the left, right, up, or down, so not the worst. The A, B, X, and Y buttons are actually pretty good. They feel nice, they are very tactile, and they're not super clicky, and they're not sticky or anything like that, so that's a big plus. So when we turn it on here, you see one of the really cool features about this is you got these cool little RGB lights around the analog sticks, and you can actually customize those, so you can change them to different colors. So how you do that is you hold the T button here, and then you click the analog stick, and each time you click it, it changes colors. So that's cool. So you can have green, orange, blue, red, RGB, purple, basically all the colors there. Really cool feature. It does add a nice aesthetic to it. Obviously, it doesn't have any practicality for playing the game, but it is really cool. I played a few games on this. I played Doom. I played not Twilight Princess. I played Doom. I played Skyward Sword. And it works really well. As far as FPS games go, that's why I played Doom, is because you really want really good analog sticks. So I tried that out to see how good they were. And it's not horrible, but it's not the best. I had a couple of times where I believe it was the controllers that wigged out, and all of a sudden I did like a random 360 and turned around. It only happened twice in about 2 hours of gameplay, which is not horrible. But still, if you're, you know, in a boss battle or something, or, you know, surrounded by, you know, the demons of hell, and you really need to be precise with your aiming, and all of a sudden your guy flips around, you're gonna die. It's not the best there. So they definitely have their flaws. The most awesome thing about them compared to other grip Joy-Cons like the Hori Split Pad Pro is that they are actual Joy-Cons. So you can remove them and they work independently. So you can use them like this, or if you're playing Mario Kart, they do have the SL/SR buttons. You can hand one to a friend and hold them like this. I mean, they're super uncomfortable like this, so I wouldn't recommend that. The regular Joy-Cons are more comfortable when you hold them sideways. Or they each come with this little adapter here to turn it into a, I guess, Pro Controller style. So if you want to use it that way, you just pop them on here, and you can use it like a controller. And it's actually pretty comfortable like a controller. So if you're on the go and this is your only option, it's really nice. And if you're using a smaller case that you don't want to pack around a Pro Controller with you and stuff like that, and just have these, then that's a great option. You know, the better option, of course, would be to put everything in a backpack and have it all, or use the Satysfy case and have your, you know, Pro Controller, your Joy-Con, your dock, and everything with you. And speaking of the dock, that is another downside. They are dockable, yes, but because they've got these ergonomic grips here, if you have anything plugged in to the USB port on the side of your dock, like I've got the 8-bit do Bluetooth adapter for controllers here, if you have anything plugged in there, it won't dock because that ergonomic grip hits your USB there. Not gonna work for either one of these. So yeah, I like these small ones a lot. They are comfortable. However, the small ones I'm probably gonna give a 3.5 star out of 5, just because they've got their issues. They're super clicky, and they're probably not the best option out there, but they are a good option. And, you know, warning, they are third party, and we never know how long third party controllers are gonna last. So moving on to our second option here, we've got the bigger ones. Now these ones are much more comfortable in my opinion, if you have bigger hands especially. They fit in the hand a lot better, and then the analog sticks are actual size of what a controller would be. They're much bigger, there's a lot more room to move them, and they're really nice. The buttons are also very nice, and then the triggers, way better than the smaller versions. L and R, same thing. They're not nearly as clicky. Even the D-pad is a huge improvement. The D-pad's still not the best. It's not as awful as it is on the smaller versions, but it is pretty good. I do prefer the D-pad on the Hori Split Pad Pro better, but this one will suffice and is not the worst thing in the world. And these ones, the bigger ones, also have the programmable back buttons as well, which is nice. And the same thing with the lights around the analog sticks here. You got your lights, you change them the same way. However, the button to change them is on the back, the T button there. So that's on the back of the controller. And another thing you can do, I forgot to mention the smaller ones as well, is you can actually adjust the rumble intensity, I guess, or the vibrate intensity. And you do that the same way you're going to change the color for the most part. You push and hold the T button, and then you push up or down on your analog stick. The controllers have to be turned on. Of course, the switch has to be on. So you hold your T button, and then you push up on your analog stick. Sometimes it's easier to do it with two hands. Up, and you'll feel the intensity change, up or down. It's not a huge difference, I've noticed, but it does make a little bit of a difference, because when I first started using the smaller ones, the vibrate intensity was really low, and I didn't like it a lot. So yeah, the programmable back buttons are really nice. That's a great feature for people that are playing games like Doom, where you don't want to take your thumbs off the analog sticks to push any of the buttons, and you want to push these back buttons. Or say something like Fortnite or anything like that. The back buttons are nice. I don't use them super often. I have them set to nothing, because a lot of the times I'll be gripping really hard and you accidentally push those buttons when you're gripping with the way I hold it. So you have to be used to those buttons being active, and with your, the way I hold it anyway, your middle finger, you have to hold it a little bit more loose so you're not pushing those buttons. You can get used to it pretty simply, but yeah, just something to be aware of. These are dockable as well, but same issue. You're going to hit that USB, so you can't have anything plugged into the USB when you're using them. And then also, same thing, they can be used independently from the switch itself. They've got the SL, SR buttons. You can hold them that way. Not comfortable, don't recommend it. But these are a little bit more comfortable on your little adapter that comes with them here, and holding it like a controller. So that's really nice. So yeah, these ones I actually do like a lot. The problem with them is they don't fit in nearly as many cases as the small ones. One case I do know they fit in is the Butterfox case that was actually made for the Hori SplitPad Pro. I haven't reviewed that case itself, but I happen to have it right here. So the Butterfox case, you can grab it on Amazon. They do fit in there just fine. It's a little bit more snug than the Hori SplitPad Pro, but it does fit. So if you want a smaller case to carry around, that one's a great option. If you want a bigger one, of course you can take them off the Switch and use the Satysfy case and put them in where the controller or the Joy-Con grip would go, or where the Pro controller would go, or just in that little pocket there. If you haven't seen that review on that case, you can check it out on our channel. We did review that case. So yeah, I like these bigger ones a lot. As far as programming these back buttons go, you hold down the M button on whatever side you want to program. So if you want to program the right back button, you hold down the M on the right controller, and then push whatever button you want to assign it to. So it can be assigned to any of the face buttons, as far as that it can be assigned to A, B, X, Y, or it can be assigned to R or your ZR button. It cannot be assigned to the home button, the plus button, or the analog stick. So like I said, in order to do that, you push and hold the M button, and then you push the button you want to assign to this back button. So push and hold M, we're going to assign the, let's say the B button to it. So push and hold M, and then push B. So then to test it out here, we're going to go over to settings, we're going to go in there, and then we're going to push back button to get out of it. And there you go, gets out of it. And then same thing on this side, push and hold the M button. Let's say we want to program the left button on your D-pad here. Push and hold M, hit left, there you go. It's your left button. Now you cannot do opposite sides. So if you want to program, let's say the X button to the left, you can't do that. It has to be on the same Joy-Con or Joypad, whatever you want to call them. You can't mix and match. So if you want to program the right button, it has to be one of the buttons on the right side. If you want to program the left back button, it has to be one of the buttons on the left side. You cannot combine the different sides, which is a little bit of a bummer, but kind of makes sense. So that adds some great functionality there, and an awesome other feature. So as far as these goes, same thing. I played Doom on it a lot, and I did like it a lot more than the small ones. The only downside is there is a little bit more of a dead zone than I prefer, especially with an FPS game. So a dead zone, if you don't know what that is, that's when you're using the analog stick and you're moving it, and there's a dead zone and it's not doing anything. And you can kind of see it just here on the home menu. I can move it a little bit left and right, and it doesn't respond. There's not as much of a dead zone as there is on the small controllers, but there is a noticeable one, especially when compared to the Hori SplitPad Pro. There's not much of a dead zone at all on those, but there is on these. It's not awful. Like I said, you can see when I'm moving it where it is. It's more so going left. There's a pretty big dead zone when I'm turning left, whereas right, there's not much of one at all. Same thing here. You can see the dead zone when I'm moving these around. So not a huge deal. That's pretty expected of third-party controllers, but when you're playing an FPS game, you do have to get used to that dead zone, and it's not the best. Obviously, FPS games are always going to be better with first-party controllers, such as the Pro controller, or they actually are better with the Hori SplitPad Pro. Only problem is that the Hori SplitPad Pro doesn't have rumble capability. You know, not a huge issue for a lot of people. Some people don't like the rumble capability, but I do like it. And they can't be used independently from the Switch. Another thing I will say about these is neither one of them has NFC capability. You know, not a huge issue, but it is a little bit of a letdown, especially if you're playing games where you're going to be using NFC a lot. you know, if you're taking it on the go, you're probably not going to be using Amiibo. Not very many people are going to be carrying the Amiibo with them in their case, but hey, you never know. If you're playing at home, you're most likely going to be using a Pro controller. But just so you know, you cannot use NFC with these. It won't recognize it. You'd have to bring a Joy-Con with you if you want to use NFC when you're out and about. So that is something to keep in mind. So the bigger controllers I do look like a lot better. They're not quite a 5-star for me, but I am going to give them a 4.5 star for now, just because they are third-party controllers, like I said, and we never know what's going to happen in the future with third-party controllers. They could go out at any time. I've used these pretty extensively so far, no issues, but that is something to be aware of. Also, added note, they both have the turbo function. If you don't know what turbo is, it's when you can assign a button to push over and over again. I've always hated that function ever since it came out. First time I saw it was on the Super Nintendo, and I don't see the point in it. I guess maybe a fighting game, but third-party controllers always insist on putting turbo, like everybody uses it. I don't know anybody that uses the turbo button, so I'm just kind of gonna ignore that feature because I think it's stupid. But yeah, great options. If you want a better option for the Joy-Con, I do prefer them over the Joy-Con a lot. And the Joy-Con, you're going to have drift issues on almost all of them. So it's not like those are much better than third-party controllers. You're going to have issues on those after 6 months to a year, most likely. So I do like these a lot. You can grab them on Amazon. Once again, they are the controllers from Binbok. Make sure you get the right one, the small one or the big one. It's pretty easy to tell just by looking at the picture which one you're getting, but these are a great option for the Nintendo Switch. They're not my absolute favorite, but they are up there. Remember guys, if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. If you liked this video and this review today, give us a big thumbs up. Don't forget to check out the giveaway playlist and our other reviews, and we hope to see you again here on Super Platinum Achievement. We'll see you guys.